During the pandemic, everything changed, not just for the world, but for medicine itself. Our hospital opened an area for teleconsultations. Quick calls, short conversations, fast diagnoses. It was supposed to make things easier, but that night, nothing was easy. Her name appeared on the screen, Katie Bloom. 29 years old, fever, cough, dizziness, another case among hundreds that day. It was around midnight, the hour when the hospital corridors quiet down, and the only sound left is the hum of the machines and the distant echo of my own thoughts. I rubbed my eyes, clicked accept, and waited for the video feed to load. The screen flickered twice before stabilizing, and then there she was, a young woman, motionless, staring straight at me. Her face looked almost translucent, skin pale as paper, lips dry and cracked. The only light came from the faint blue glow of her phone screen, illuminating her features like a ghost caught between worlds. Behind her, nothing but darkness. No bed, no lamps, no shape of a room. Just an empty void that swallowed the light around her. For a moment, I thought the camera had malfunctioned. But then she blinked, slowly, like she'd been standing there for a long time. Before the call even connected, I cleared my throat. "Good evening, Katie. Can you hear me well?" She nodded once. "Yes, I can hear you."
Nice.
Her voice was soft, breathy, like she was conserving strength. There was a faint echo, too, the kind that happens in large, empty spaces. I frowned. "Katie, could you turn on a light, please?" "It's very dark where you are." She hesitated. Her eyes darted to the side, as if checking something, or someone. Then she whispered, "I can't. There's a power outage here." Her tone was flat, but her gaze restless. She wasn't looking directly at the camera anymore, but slightly past it, like she was aware of something behind her that explained the darkness, but not the feeling crawling up my spine. Something about that room, or whatever it was, felt wrong. Too still, too quiet. Like silence wasn't the absence of sound, but the presence of something waiting. While she described her symptoms, the fever, the dizziness, the sense of heaviness in her chest, I couldn't help it. My eyes kept drifting to the black void behind her. Every few seconds, I thought I saw movement. Not clear enough to define, but something. Like a figure shifting in the shadows where no figure should be. At one point, I even leaned closer to the screen, squinting, trying to adjust my headset's brightness, and then I saw it. A faint blur to her left. It moved quickly, as if darting out of view. She noticed my expression. "Is something wrong, doctor?" I forced a smile. No. Just checking the connection. It seems a little unstable, but it wasn't the connection. It was something else entirely. A few seconds later, I heard it, a faint, rhythmic sound that didn't match her breathing. It wasn't static. It wasn't feedback. It was breathing. Someone else's breathing. Slow, uneven, and close enough that the mic caught every exhale. Katie froze. Her eyes widened slightly like she heard it too. I saw her glance over her shoulder, though. Behind her there was still only darkness. "Katie," I said carefully, "is there anyone else with you?" She shook her head. Too quickly, "No one. I'm alone." But her voice broke on the last word. She tried to keep speaking, but her voice trembled. Her words came out slurred, her breaths shallow. "Doctor, my chest hurts." The light from her phone flickered across her face. Her pupils dilated. Her hand clutched at her chest, trembling. I could see her pulse racing at the base of her neck. Her lips were losing color. My tone changed instantly, years of emergency work kicking in. "Katie, I need you to stay calm. Focus on my voice. Do you have anyone nearby who can help you?" She shook her head, gasping. Sweat rolled down her temples, catching the glow of the screen. I could hear her heartbeat through the small microphone, faint, irregular, desperate. "Where are you right now?" "I'm sending an ambulance." "Ah!" she whispered in address. I typed it quickly, double-checking the zip code. And then she said it, the words that made my chest tighten. "Please, stay with me until they arrive. I don't want to be alone." Not again. Her voice cracked on that last sentence. I didn't understand what she meant. Not again? But her eyes, they said everything. They were filled with a kind of fear that wasn't just physical pain. It was memory. We waited. 5 minutes. Maybe 10. Time felt elastic, stretching and snapping back in fragments of silence and shallow breaths. Katie's breathing slowed, but every inhale came with a soft wince, the kind that makes you instinctively tense your own chest. Her phone camera struggled to focus, flickering with each subtle movement. The faint light from her screen barely outlined her face anymore. Then, without any question from me, she spoke. Her tone was distant, like the words were escaping before she could stop them. "Do you believe people can come back, doctor?" It wasn't a question that belonged in a medical call. Her voice carried something raw, a trembling curiosity that sounded too close to hope or fear. I hesitated. "Come back? You mean recover?" She shook her head slowly. Her eyes, reflecting the pale blue glow, looked wet but unfocused, like she was seeing something I couldn't. "No," she whispered. "I mean after they die?" For a moment, the air left the room. I froze, my cursor hovering over her name on the screen as if that could anchor me in logic. Her gaze dropped. The shadows deepened around her face. When she spoke again, her voice cracked like a fragile thread about to snap. Her name was Mia, my sister. She died last year. Overdose. She wiped her eyes with the back of her hand, but her fingers trembled. I was supposed to help her. I told her I'd call back later that night. I was tired. It was just another call, another message I thought could wait. Her voice faltered, and I never did. A long, unbearable silence filled the space. Even through the screen, it felt heavy, like grief itself had found its way into the room. The faint hum of the hospital's air vent, the low beep of a monitor down the hall, all of it seemed to fade. All I could hear was the static of the connection and that breathing again. But now it was different. It wasn't random interference. It had rhythm, slow, deliberate, almost synchronized with her own, but not quite. It lingered at the edge of the microphone, too close to be an echo. I turned up my volume slightly, instinctively holding my breath. That's when I heard it. A whisper, barely audible, but clear enough to chill the blood. Katie, the voice was soft, feminine, familiar in a way I couldn't explain. Katie's head jerked toward the darkness behind her. Her pupils widened. "Did you hear that?" she asked, panic rising in her voice. I didn't respond. I couldn't. My throat had gone dry. Her phone light flickered, then dimmed further, almost gone now. And for a fraction of a second, just a heartbeat of time, I saw it. Another face barely visible, leaning close to her ear. Translucent, blurred, like a reflection on glass. And just as quickly, it was gone. The screen glitched 1, 2, 3 times. Then her image froze. Her face stayed locked, mid-expression, eyes wide, lips parted in what looked like the beginning of a scream. But the sound didn't stop. Her breathing continued through the speakers, uneven, desperate, fading. And layered over it, almost hidden, was another voice. Faint, cold, whispering close to the mic. "She's here." Then silence. The video feed went black. A second later, the connection dropped. User offline. I stared at the message, waiting for it to reconnect, but it didn't. The faint hum of my monitor filled the silence, and for the first time that night, I realized my own hands were shaking. I called emergency services immediately. My fingers stumbled over the keys as I read out her address. The operator's calm, procedural tone grounded me just enough to speak. 10 minutes later, my headset buzzed. A return call from the paramedics. I answered before the second ring, "Doctor." "We're at the address." Their voices were muffled, distant. I could hear footsteps echoing and something metallic dragging faintly across the floor. Then, after a pause, "We found a woman here. Unconscious but alive." Relief surged through me, followed quickly by confusion. "That's good. Keep her stable. She needs oxygen and IV fluids." But before I could finish, the voice on the other end hesitated. Doctor, you said this was a video call, right? Yes, why? Because this house has no power. No router, no signal. Nothing's been connected here for months. The line went quiet. I could hear the wind howling faintly in the background. Then the operator spoke again, almost whispering. And the phone we found on the table? It's dead. The battery's been out for a long time. By morning, I still hadn't slept. I told myself I'd check her medical record first thing, just to make sure she was stable. I logged into the hospital system, typed her name. Katie Bloom, no results. I refreshed the page. Tried again. Nothing. Finally, I expanded the search to archived files. And there it was. One record. My stomach turned as I opened it. The screen loaded slowly, almost too slowly, and then her face appeared. The same one I'd seen on the call to Katie Bloom. Date of death, June 17th, 2020. Cause, cardiac arrest following overdose. The same day she said her sister had died, for a long time. I just stared. The date didn't make sense. The record didn't make sense. None of it did. I looked at her picture again. She was smiling in it, healthy, vibrant, a world away from the pale, frightened woman I'd seen hours ago. I scrolled down to the contact information, same address she'd given me that night, and below it, one final note from a previous attending physician. Patient's twin sister, Mia Bloom, deceased 1 year prior. Twin. The breath left my chest. The resemblance, the name, the way she said, "Not again." I didn't know what to believe anymore. I sat there, staring at the monitor, long after the sun had risen. The light in my office looked harsh now. It's real after a night spent speaking to someone who might not even exist. I tried to rationalize it. A system error. Maybe an old video file, a case of mistaken identity, a cross signal. But deep down, I knew. I felt it. The weight of that silence when she froze. The way the air seemed to thicken through the screen. Her words replayed over and over in my head. Don't leave me alone. Not again. And then the whisper. She's here. That voice didn't belong to her. It belonged to the space behind her. I shut my computer, trying to push the thought away. But that night, just before bed, my phone buzzed once. A notification lighting up the dark. Incoming call, unknown number. The screen flickered, static. And for a split second, just long enough to make my blood run cold, I saw her face again. Smiling, calm, almost grateful. Then the screen went black. Sometimes I wonder, maybe not all connections are meant to be broken. Maybe some calls never really end. If you saw her name appear on your screen, would you answer? And do you think she was trying to warn me or pull me with her? Tell me in the comments. And if you want to hear more stories that stay with you, even after the line goes dead, like, subscribe, and stay connected. Even when the world goes offline.